The rain is going to pick up in intensity for this afternoon and rain for much of Tuesday. So a weather alert day now in effect for both days. I'm going to walk you through the timeline.
Grieving together, students at Holly Spring High return after a classmate's death. We'll share the support in place to help them through a very difficult day.
And EMS changes. Wake County leaders meet today to discuss the future of emergency response, what it could mean when you call for help. Some much needed rain is on the way. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Chris Loving. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. A weather alert day is now in effect as rain develops in time for the evening commute. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center to explain who may need to plan extra time to get home.
Let's take a look at dual Doppler 5000 radar to start with. We do have the rain really increasing in coverage back to our west, just starting to move into our western counties. That will spread eastward as we get through the next several hours. And it looks like most of us will see rain during the evening commute. The farther north and east you are, the less chance that you'll see it. But definitely starting to see it become a little bit heavier back across the Sandhills, getting ready to move into our part of the Sandhills. So more counties seeing some rain. Lee County, that's also starting to creep into Chatham County and Orange County right now. And over the next few hours, that will continue to push eastward. We have a low that's sitting close to the Gulf, and another low will develop offshore, and those will work together to increase our chance for rain over the next 24 hours. Here's Futurecast right here at lunchtime. You can see that rain in our western counties, and then by 2 o'clock, it's in our southern counties. But look.
French police are searching for the remaining suspects in the Louvre jewelry heist. 2 of the 4 suspects were arrested over the weekend in Paris. Ralph Sanchez has more on the brazen heist that stunned the world and sparked a massive manhunt.
Finally, a break in the Louvre jewel heist investigation. French police arresting 2 suspects on Saturday night. They say one of them was arrested at Charles de Gaulle Airport here in Paris, trying to flee the country for Algeria. A French police union spokesman tells us both of the suspects are in their early 30s, that they are known criminals with a history of robbing jewelry stores, and that they were tracked down using DNA recovered from the scene here at the Louvre. At this point, though, no sign of the $102 million worth of French crown jewels that were stolen from the Apollo Gallery. And we don't know whether these 2 suspects are the ones who actually went into the museum, but there were 4 members of the robbery gang itself, and police suspect that they were part of a larger network. Now, the big fear here is that these crown jewels may already have been chopped to pieces, but authorities are saying they are encouraged. The fact that these 2 men were arrested here in Paris may mean that the crown jewels are still here in the French capital. Ralph Sanchez, NBC News, Paris.
Former NFL player Adrian Peterson faces DWI and gun charges. The 40-year-old was taken into custody yesterday after he attended an NFL draft event for Vikings fans in Texas. Peterson played in the NFL for 15 seasons, and he earned league MVP honors in 2012. That's when he became one of only 9 running backs in the NFL history to rush for 2,000 yards in a season. A family of 4 died in a house fire in South Carolina. Investigators say the fire started while they were refueling a kerosene heater inside the home. One family member escaped and alerted a neighbor, and that person called 911. Firefighters believe the victims appear to have been trying to escape before the smoke overwhelmed them. The victims include 2 children, a 4-year-old and a 7-month-old.
The 2025 North Carolina State Fair has come to a close. We are waiting for new data this morning about final attendance numbers. The North Carolina Department of Agriculture shows roughly 850,000 people have attended so far, and around 998,000 people have attended last year. Organizers say the fair's busiest day so far was Saturday, with 116,000 in attendance. Happening today, the governor's highway safety program is kicking off its Halloween Booze It and Lose It campaign. Increased patrols will start today and run through Sunday. The goal is to minimize the number of impaired drivers on the road. They also want to inform drivers about the risks of driving while under the influence.
I do want to talk about the next weather maker, the WRAL weather alert day that we have in place there. Elizabeth, talk a little bit about the rain that's on its way. You can see it very clearly there on the radar.
You can. So when we take a look at the radar, you're looking at the yellow and the orange shaded areas. That's where the rain is a bit heavier in green, especially the lighter green. And that's where the rain is going to be fairly light. And of course, as this begins to move into our viewing area again, it's going to start on the light side, but then pick up in intensity as we get into the evening commute. And that is why this afternoon is a WRAL weather alert day. It's just going to be a messy commute. It may take you longer than normal to get home. Sanford's starting to see some showers, as well as parts of Mora County, starting to see a bit of that just south of Siler City, and a little bit.
Hey, just a heads up, pork jerky sold at Costco and Sam's Club is being recalled over possible metal fragments. Plus, Halloween candy prices are getting downright spooky this year. Those are among today's business headlines with Maribel Aber.
The U.S. and China have reached a framework trade agreement avoiding a 157% tariff on Chinese goods. The breakthrough came during President Trump's visit to Malaysia, the first stop on his Asia tour. It also eases tensions ahead of Trump's meeting with China's President Xi later this week. Trump now heads to Japan, where he'll meet with that country's first female prime minister. He also said he's open to adding North Korea to the trip, but no plans on that are confirmed. More than 2 million pounds of Korean barbecue pork jerky sold at Costco and Sam's Club are being recalled due to possible metal contamination. The affected lots were sold under the brand name Golden Island, made by LSI Incorporated. The USDA says the metal fragments came from a conveyor belt at the company's South Dakota plant. No injuries have been reported, but consumers are advised to throw the jerky away or return it for a refund. Full recall details can be found on the USDA's website. Halloween candy is likely to cost more this season with less chocolate in the mix. Research by think tank Groundwork Collaborative shows candy prices up nearly 11% this year compared to 2% last year. Brand prices are rising too, with Hershey variety packs up 22% and Mars, maker of M&M's and Milky Way, up 12%. Some candy makers are introducing flavors less reliant on chocolate, like cinnamon-flavored Kit Kats. Higher cocoa prices and U.S. tariffs affecting aluminum packaging are pushing costs up. And those are your business headlines. I'm Maribel Aber at the NASDAQ Market Site.
Tomorrow night, the NBA on NBC is going coast to coast. A doubleheader of action will showcase top teams in the Eastern and Western conferences. The Milwaukee Bucks will host the New York Knicks. That game starts at 8 p.m. Then after that, the Los Angeles Clippers will take on the Golden State Warriors. That game tips off at 11 p.m. Catch all the action on WRAL.
The Mega Millions lottery is still looking for a new winner. The jackpot is its 9th largest ever. There were no winners from Friday night, which means tomorrow night's drawing will be a $714 million payout. That is an estimated lump sum of $334.1 million. You can watch the drawing tomorrow night on WRAL at 11 p.m. Concert break-ins. A man accused of targeting cars outside Lenovo Center is due in court today. We're learning about the charges he's facing.
Traffic changes ahead. New closures begin tonight on the 540 expansion. We'll walk you through the area drivers should avoid.
And we do have a look at your winning NC Education lottery numbers right here on your screen.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your #1 source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
The man accused in a series of car break-ins outside Lenovo Center is due in court today. 15 cars were broken into during the NBA Youngboy concert Friday night.
Yeah, and police arrested 33-year-old Dontarius Barrett. He faces charges including breaking and entering and possession of a stolen firearm. Let's bring in Sean Gallagher. He is there right now outside Lenovo Center. And Sean, this is the end of a busy couple of weeks around that arena.
Yeah, Chris, between State Fair, the Chris Brown concert, and a number of different events here at the Lenovo Center, all of that made for a prime opportunity, according to the Raleigh Police Department. But they say there could be even more people involved. Now, Raleigh police tell me there were actually 12 break-ins Friday during the NBA Youngboy concert, where 4 guns were stolen from 2 different vehicles. Police recovered one of those guns after arresting Dontarius Barrett, but it's unclear how many vehicles Barrett's accused of breaking into. But the situation has police reminding people not to leave weapons inside of their cars. After the Tate McRae concert here Saturday evening, Raleigh police said there weren't any reports of break-ins there. Now, Barrett will be in court later today. He's being held on a $65,000 bond for 2 different cases. In Raleigh, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
No arrests have been made after a mass shooting in Robinson County. 2 people were killed and 11 people were injured in this. This all happened on Dixon Drive near Maxton around 1:30 Saturday morning. The sheriff's office says multiple people fired shots at a Halloween party. 16-year-old Nehemiah Locklear and 48-year-old Jesse Locklear Jr. died. The 11 people injured range in age from 17 to 43 years old. And at last check, one person did have life-threatening injuries. And so we've reached out to find out if deputies have any person of interest.
A Delaware man is facing charges after a deadly shooting at a Pennsylvania university. Police say Zacchaeus Morgan Thompson is charged with carrying a concealed firearm without a license. The shooting happened Saturday night at the Lincoln University's International Cultural Center during a homecoming weekend event. A 25-year-old man died after he was shot in the head. 6 others were hurt. They are expected to be okay.
This is the last week for early voting in Wake and Cumberland counties right now. Early voting for municipal elections will continue through Saturday. Election day is next Tuesday. In Wake County, you can vote now at the County Board of Elections. 3 more polling places are open to early voters, and those are at the community centers in Garner, Apex, and Cary. Today, the Durham Board of Commissioners will meet, and leaders will discuss the American Rescue Plan Act and the adjustments the county needs to make to keep that funding. They're considering increasing a grant for the Build Babies Durham program. It would help low-income families with affordable child care and other services. Tonight's meeting is at 7 p.m.
New road and lane closures will start tonight as part of the NC 540 expansion project. Phase 1, the 18-mile stretch you see shaded in yellow, opened last year, and now work is happening on the 10-mile Phase 2 stretch. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey walks us through the closures you need to know about as a part of this project that's years in the making.
Those road and lane closures will start tonight all along Rock Quarry Road here. You can even see how there's a reminder for drivers on the road that these closures start tonight. Now, this is all a part of the NC 540 expansion project that we've been telling you about for a long time. Here's a look at the stretch that they're working on. The closures impact Rock Quarry Road between Auburn-Knightdale Road and Old Balcom Road. The road will close every night this week until Friday from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. This final section of 540 is the culmination of a massive road construction project that's been decades in the making.
We've got a existing water line and sewer line that needs to be relocated with the project, and that those relocations require us to close Rock Quarry Road.
This new stretch will become a toll road, just like all of the other recently completed sections of 540. The entire expansion project is set to be done in 2028. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Raleigh.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, the North Carolina State Fair just wrapped up its 11-day run. And this afternoon, we have new numbers just in for attendance. 946,811 people. That is slightly under last year. About 998,000 people attended last year. They say Monday and Tuesday were both very strong attendance days. And among the fair highlights, Smithfield Hunger Relief Day collected enough food for around 150,000 meals. That is absolutely amazing. Agriculture Commissioner Steve Troxler said it has been a very strong year. We saw a lot of smiles, a lot of happy people, and that makes all the hard work worthwhile.
Yeah, that number may be less than last year, but still not too bad. All right, thanks, Michelle. We're hearing new reaction from a woman whose life was turned upside down. She learned her real father was a Duke doctor who apparently used his own sperm when her mother sought fertility treatment. She believes she has at least 20 half-siblings. Summer McKesson says in the last 3 years, she's been diagnosed with 2 dangerous genetic conditions, including Marfan syndrome. She learned through a DNA test her biological father is former Duke University Hospital fertility doctor Charles Peat. She's sharing her story now, hoping to warn any other unknown half-siblings out there.
The mothers deserve to know that this happened to them, and then children, all of the half-siblings deserve to know their medical history.
McKesson wants North Carolina's lawmakers to take action to hold doctors like her biological father accountable and to protect kids like her. Dr. Charles Peat died in 2013, and so we reached out to Duke Health about this. It said in a statement, quote, "We have been made aware of unacceptable actions by an individual that occurred in our program in the early days of fertility care during the late 1970s and early 1980s. The unacceptable actions could not happen today at Duke Health. It should never have happened."
Catastrophic damage coming. Hurricane Melissa as a Cat 5 headed straight for Jamaica. The preparations in Jamaica's capital city for a historic storm.
And chicken recall, the specific type of Hormel's frozen, ready-to-eat chicken to look out for and why you should not eat this.
Download the new WRAL weather app and plan ahead for severe weather anytime. Turn on alerts to get notified about severe weather in your location. It is free wherever you download your apps. Hormel Foods is recalling millions of pounds of frozen, ready-to-eat chicken over possible contamination. The USDA says some fire-braised thigh and breast meat may contain metal. The products were sold to hotels and restaurants between February 10th and September 19th of this year. No incidents or illnesses reported, but Hormel says toss it if you have any.
All right. Don't lie. You've probably done it. Endlessly scrolling on your phone to decompress. You're doing it right now, aren't you? Well, Cleveland Clinic says the habit known as doom scrolling can fuel stress, anxiety, and disrupt sleep. Try setting screen time limits and use an alarm to remind you to maybe stop scrolling. And then you can switch to something positive like a walk or a hobby. Psychologist Dr. Adam Borland says always be mindful of how you're feeling while you're scrolling.
So it's important to check in with yourself. Right? As you begin scrolling, am I noticing, all of a sudden I've got a headache or muscle tension or, I'm just not feeling well. My body is trying to communicate something to me.
Look, I'm guilty of this too. If you do start feeling off, Dr. Borland recommends switching up the content that you're watching or maybe even take a break from your phone. Not a bad idea. Power costs rising. Why experts say the growth of AI data centers could soon hit your wallet and how much higher your bills may go.
Plus, tracking Melissa. A powerful hurricane bears down on Jamaica. How strong it could get and the serious risks that people who live there are facing. Welcome back. You're looking live at Sanford. Gray and overcast skies there, and we could see some rain for the evening commute. You're watching WRAL News, available on Spectrum and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device. We'll have damp conditions, and our highs will only be in the 50s the next few days. It's all part of a pattern unique to North Carolina. Meteorologist Chris Michaels shows us how rare it is in today's Ask the Meteorologist.
Without the presence of the Appalachian Mountains, this pattern wouldn't happen. It's something that we've talked about a lot, especially in the fall months. It's called cold air damming, or the wedge, where you get this northeast breeze to bring in that cooler air out of New England. But at the same time, thousands of feet above us, the air is warm. So that's a temperature inversion. That cooler air gets locked in. And today, temperatures don't get out of the 40s in the mountains. We don't get out of the 50s here. At the same time, you've got some very warm Gulf Stream water. So that temperature difference allows more frequent storm systems to develop near the East Coast and ride up the East Coast, which is why we see our periods of rain and gusty wind. Some may call it a coastal low or a nor'easter. We've talked about that in recent weeks, and these happen most often during the months between September and April. So the last time that we had highs in the 50s, you got to go back more than 7.5 months. Our normal high in the 50s, that's usually during the first week of December. So a little taste of winter here over the next 3 days.
Your utility bills could soon climb, and experts say AI data centers are partly to blame for this. Bank of America economists report energy costs are rising as more data centers demand power. Electricity prices are up more than 5% over the past year, and natural gas costs jump 11%. The study warns those higher bills may also affect overall consumer spending. Local health providers are coming together to make sure uninsured women can get the preventative care they need to detect breast cancer. WakeMed, Raleigh Radiology, and Siemens Healthineers are teaming up for the 4th year to provide 3D mammogram screenings. Women over 40 can receive a mammogram through the mobile mammography bus. It's parked at WakeMed's Raleigh Medical Park on Sunnybrook Road. The bus will be there Monday through Thursday this week from 11 until 7. Appointments are full, but they have some space there for walk-ins. Last year, nearly 400 women got the potentially life-saving screenings.
We want to give you a live look at Kingston Harbor in Jamaica right now. You can see very choppy waves. Hurricane Melissa, a now powerful Cat 5 storm, already claiming at least 4 lives in the Caribbean. And it is now heading toward Jamaica, where it could be the strongest storm to hit this island in over half a century. George Solis is in there with what we know.
Conditions here in Jamaica continue to fluctuate. Any moment you do see some heavy rain and wind start to pick up. Right now it is calm, and a lot of people taking that time to make those last minute preparations. For instance, here you can see this building trying to fortify their doors with some sandbags here in anticipation of some of that flooding that is expected with this very strong Category 5 storm. Again, where it makes landfall is still anyone's guess. Officials urging everyone, if you haven't already found a safe place, to do so. Also, in some of these low-lying areas that typically tend to flood, evacuation orders are in place. These are now mandatory. We actually saw some buses staging in some of these communities. Not many people still getting on them. Some saying they are going to ride out this storm in their homes as they've been accustomed to. Officials also briefing the public daily. The messaging pretty clear, though, whether you're a tourist or whether you're a local here. This is a time to band together to ride out this storm because they anticipate this to be historic. We've been talking about the catastrophic rainfall, the potential for rock slides, mudslides. It could get very ugly here, especially with how slow this storm has been moving. The emergency shelters here across the island are now open. Not many of them full yet, but officials expect that could change in the coming hours. Back to you.
And Michelle McConaughey is in the WRAL Live Center with more updates on how Jamaica is preparing for Hurricane Melissa. Michelle.
Yeah, Renee, I want you to look at this here. Jamaica's Minister of Energy gave an information about the island's transportation systems, but he says, I am moving away from saying good morning, and for now, until whenever we recover, I will just say, Almighty Father, spare us. He says all airports are closed and will remain closed until the hurricane passes. He also says all bus service has been terminated until after the storm. I also want to bring your attention to this. Officials are warning of fake videos and misinformation during Melissa, especially in today's day and age. We see this a lot. Officials say you have to listen to official channels to get correct updates and avoid videos posted online that might not be accurate.
Michelle, thank you. And in our last half hour, Michelle was telling us the Jamaican Prime Minister saying, quote, we will weather the storm for the people of Jamaica. Very concerning with the Cat 5 headed towards them. What's the timing, the latest timing of this? When will this hit the country?
So the center of circulation looks like it's going to make landfall in the morning tomorrow, sometime, before lunchtime. It's just so scary to keep looking at this over and over. There's the eye of the storm. The black shaded area is where the storm is the strongest. And so they've already started to see some of the outer rain bands. But if you can see here, this is the outline of Jamaica. It's about that big. So I can put 1, 2, 3, at least 3 of Jamaica over that storm right now. It's just incredible. They've never had a landfalling Category 5 storm since records have been kept. So just scary to watch this for sure. The center of circulation is about 145 miles south of Kingston. It's still moving so slowly. The reason we worry about slow moving storms is because the longer a storm sits in one place, the more damage it can do. If it moves on by, it's just not there as long. It can't do quite as much damage. So, just so many things that are really scary about this storm. Winds are up a little bit from the 5 o'clock advisory this morning up to 165 now. And it's not just Jamaica that's going to be affected by this storm. We'll watch where the storm is headed and making landfall. This is 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, and that's about the time of landfall. Of course, it will start the country of Jamaica will be feeling this starting late tonight. That's when it's about halfway over. And then it's Cat 3 as it moves beyond Jamaica into Cuba. It's still Cat 2 on the other side of Cuba through the Bahamas, and then Cat 1 potentially over over Bermuda. Bermuda's right there. So a lot of islands, not just Jamaica, of course, in line for this. We've already seen as many as 4 deaths around the Dominican Republic and Haiti. So just such a powerful, monster of a storm. Some of the latest rainfall estimates are as high as 40 inches in Jamaica, looking at 20 to 30 inches, maybe more widespread. And of course, deadly landslides. Storm surge up to 15 feet in a place like Jamaica or even Cuba or Haiti. Just so much destruction is likely, catastrophic with this storm. And of course, we'll be watching that closely tomorrow, the next several days. We have a WRAL weather alert day for rain this evening and again for most of the day tomorrow. We take a look at where it is right now. beginning to stream into our southern counties, even more so than it was just about half an hour ago. So rain in Fayetteville, rain in Harnett County, as well as the areas just to the south and west around Pittsboro, Siler City seeing some rain, and gradually that'll start to push into the triangle. This low pressure system with us tomorrow, sitting offshore, this coastal low will continue to keep the rain over us for tomorrow. It moves out and we get a little break early Wednesday, and then a second low moves in with more rain for Wednesday night and into the early part of Thursday. And then after that, that starts to all move on out of here. Taking a look at Futurecast, we're looking at, of course, waves of rain coming through. How much rain? It's looking at, 2 to 3 inches in the mountains, probably 2 to 3, maybe even up to 4 in some parts of the Outer Banks. For us, probably 1 to 2, maybe 2.5 inches of rain. And the coastal impacts, we're looking at, up to 10 feet of high surf, coastal flooding, possibly some overwash along Highway 12 and winds gusting up to 50 miles per hour. And that'll be with both of these. Now, Friday, we're looking at some sunshine, finally, that breaks out just in time for Halloween. And then it's nice over the weekend. Just remember to set your clocks back on Saturday night.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. Sweet viral star. How a 97-year-old ice cream shop worker is scooping up millions of fans and why he keeps showing up to work.
As we wrap things up this noon, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today.
Yeah, there's going to be extra support at Holly Springs High School, where students are mourning the death of a classmate. Holly Springs police say early yesterday morning, 16-year-old Ashton Rolfs was driving with a blood alcohol level of 0.11, I should say. Police say that the car hit 14-year-old Max Dunham, who was riding his bike, and another vehicle. Dunham died at that scene, and the driver of the other vehicle, 19-year-old Brandon Russell, was critically hurt. Rolfs is currently charged with DWI, and the investigation is ongoing.
This afternoon, Wake County commissioners will discuss how to improve EMS response times in Wake County. This comes as the county's population increases steadily by about 66 people a day. Commissioners recently approved 12 new full-time positions, 7 paramedics, and 5 EMTs.
The man accused in a series of car break-ins outside Lenovo Center is due in court today. 15 cars were broken into during the NBA YoungBoy concert Friday night. Police arrested 33-year-old Dontarius Barrett,